Shout out to J Dog for sending me this story that is coming out of Missouri. And this story is a classic case of if something will not be done by the proper people, then you're going to have to go ahead and handle business yourself, no matter how intense it's going to become. Excuse me. So you have this mother who has this child who goes to the school right here called West County Middle School in Missouri. And she made continued complaints to the school that her son was being bullied. He had racial slurs be hurled at him on a daily basis, and no one at the school did anything. That whole narrative right there, I have seen and heard so many times before. None of it surprises me. However, one day the boy decided he was not going to take the bullying anymore. So the person or persons who was bullying her son, and I believe that they said her son is 13 or 14. I believe she has another child that goes there, so they're around that age range. Took it upon himself and said, "Look, today is not the day, and but you know what? I do have time today." So the bully tried their hand, called him another slur, and then that's when her son, and believe it or not, her son's name is Kanye. I had to look at the article to make sure that she wasn't talking about Kanye West, but she said that their son's name is actually Kanye, like the rapper. Put hands on the bully. You know, hey, like at this point, that's all they really know how to stand. That's all they really know how to do. And what ended up happening is, and this goes back to the next narrative that I've always talking about of we always get in trouble for defending ourselves. He ends up getting suspended from the school for defending himself. They made it seem like the boy, her son, was the aggressor. And that also goes into two more narratives too. One, that black people are the boogeyman or the boogie child. I just made that up. In every scenario, even when we're defending ourselves, we're not allowed to defend ourselves. And two, that school to prison pipeline is real. Even when he was defending himself against an obvious bully that they did not take heed to when the mother made constant complaints to the school, they still let the bully slide. But I'm about to say arrested. They might as well have. They still suspended her son for defending himself. I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from Atlanta Black Star, and we can get more in depth to what happened. A Missouri mother is complaining what led to the suspension of her teenage son, who was the subject of ongoing bullying that she says the school did nothing about. Margot Boyd's son attends West County Middle School in Leadwood, Missouri with his brother. Since Boyd and her 13 and 14-year-olds moved there in February, the students have been the targets of bullying at the school, which online sources list as 98% white and less than 1% black. They were being called racial slurs, and it's been ongoing at the school. Nothing but racial slurs, and I take it to the principal each and every time, but nothing has been done. With the bullying going on for months, Boyd sent an email to Principal Kevin Kaufman. A boy called Kanye a nigger, and all the little boy's friends heard it. The stuff needs to be taken seriously. This is something that shouldn't be allowed at the school. Kanye won't take this much longer, and he will defend himself against this. So the mother knew what her son was capable of doing to these little terrorists. That's what I'm gonna call them. Terrorists in training. And defend himself, Kanye did. When things got worse the following day, the boy wound up getting physical with the unnamed student after Boyd says she never got an email back from Mr. Kaufman. He followed my son into the bathroom, and in the bathroom, it was both of them in there, and he continued to throw racial slurs at my son. My son asked him to please stop steadily calling me the N-word. Stop. The boy refused to stop, so my son asked him, "Where do you want it, in the face or in the chest?" The boy said, "In the chest." So my son punched him one time in the chest. Kanye is now suspended, but Boyd said the other boys are still in school. In response to the incident, the West County R4 school district would not comment specifically on the matter, citing state and federal law. Still, it issued a statement Thursday saying in part, "We as a district remain committed to providing an inclusive environment for all students and staff that is free from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation or admission to access or treatment of employment in its programs, services, activities, and facilities." For Boyd's part, she says she wants to see a lot done. "I want to know where the name calling and bullying and degrading someone because of their race is acceptable." Well, for one, you moved into a town that seems like if the school is that overwhelmingly white, that means the town itself is overwhelmingly white. That's just it. 98% white with less than 1% black. That's pretty much an all white school. They're just short 2%. And they met their quota with the less than 1% black people there, as well as if there's any other race background of kids that go to that school. But I do commend the boy for standing up for himself. And the thing is, they can't say that he did it on his own, because he asked the little terrorist in training where did he want it, in the face or in the chest, and he said in the chest, and that's exactly what he gave him. I bet you he won't do that shit again, because sometimes that's sometimes is all they understand is violence. And he probably wanted him to come at him so bad. I bet you when he go back to that school, but you know what? I don't want him to go back to that school. Maybe, I don't know I don't know what the demographic is for Missouri as a whole, but I can tell by the school being overwhelmingly white that the demographic there is definitely predominantly white. He needs to either go to another school or maybe find a way that you can get him into a homeschooling program or something like that. But he got a good left or right jab, because it did enough for the boy not to come back at him, because I didn't see anything saying that they actually fought with each other. It looks like it was one of them one hit quitters that he got him with. But I already knew the school wasn't going to say anything. They only said, the only time the school responded was when they said, "Oh, your son is suspended." And they let all the other kids, well, the other child who was bullying him, stay there. And the rest of the kids that were doing it too. But that lets you know they probably have done this stuff before with other kids, and they've constantly gotten away with it. So that principal is just incompetent. Or, well, he's not so much incompetent, he's just doing his job. Of course, he wasn't going to respond to that. Now, I bet you if the roles were reversed, he would have been quick to reply with an email. But you know what? Wouldn't have gotten to an email. He would have responded to that very first call and made sure that action was taken care of that particular day that he received said call. But like I said, this is sometimes all they understand, and that's what it took, and he did what he had to do. But hey, it is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.